I'm here with Gladwin Police Chief Charlie Jones, and we were just talking about some of the changes that were made in the department over the last year, and one of the most significant, which required legislation to be enacted, is the proposed renovation of the current city police department.
And we will be so happy to get this project started.
Yeah.
Let alone finished. We want to get it started. It's been about a 4 or 5 year project, and it's been a lot of work, a lot of things happening in the background that had to happen before we could make this. We're gonna renovate the current building that we're at right at the entrance of the city park. Right now, it's pretty pathetic the conditions we're working in, but
definitely not enough space. This looks like it's going to afford you guys quite a bit more space and some, an area for the vehicles and.
Yep. Yeah, we're gonna put on a 28 by 40 addition, 2-story. And the basement's going to have a 4-car garage, so we'll be able to store our vehicles inside during inclement weather at all times. And the upstairs is going to be a squad room, and there'll be some interview rooms and equipment rooms. And once we get that part of it done, on the east end of the department had been a 1-room apartment that had been rented out by the Housing Commission. Well, that's been vacant for over a year now, and we're going to convert that into a locker room. Right now, our locker room is in the basement. It's really not conducive to be in a locker room.
Right.
And then there's also going to be a small conference room and training room. We get those 2 ends done, and then we'll be able to hopefully move into the new addition and gut out the middle where we're currently working out and renovate that. So we're pretty excited about it. And it did take some legislation. Back in the 30s, this was a city park.
Right.
And then they sold it to and they sold it to the state for a state park, and this was constructed as the ranger's house, basically, and who took care of the campground. I think it was 1981. The city acquired the park back from the state, and when we started this project, we didn't know that in the deed there were some restrictions on the use of what we could do with this building. I took over the police department in 1999, and prior to that, the city police department moved from City Hall into this ranger's house and used that as the police department. Well, in doing this project, getting loans from the USDA, there was a lot of paperwork we had to do, and I was looking through the deeds and title work and stuff, and we found this restriction that could only be used for park purposes, not police purposes. So we were in violation, and it could have reverted back to the state, the whole city park, because of the way we were using it. That was part of the clause. So we had to have legislation introduced, which Senator John Molnar and Representative Joel Johnston both introduced this bill. It was quite a process. We had to go to Lansing twice and testify between the House committees and the Senate committees, and we had to go back a 3rd time for the actual signing of the bill to allow it for park purposes. So that was a hurdle that was cleared this year. We had it all ready to go to bids. We're getting a $78,000 grant from USDA.
Wow.
And they had already kind of approved the plans, but we didn't have the final approval go ahead. And the last person to look at it told us that it's got to have an elevator, which we didn't have in there because it's a 2-story building. So we had to go back and revise drawings, and that really threw a monkey wrench into the whole thing. But now it's all been approved. It's been put out to bids for any local contractors out there that are interested in doing this project. Intelligent Design out of Hope Lake, Dave Reibschlanger. I'll give you a phone number so you get your pencils ready. 989-422-4900. He's the one that has the bid packets. Again, that's numbers 989-422-4900. Call him and he can shoot you a copy of that electronically, or make arrangements to get you a hard copy of the bid package. So we're going to put some people to work.
Yeah, some work for some local people.
Oh yeah, we're excited about that. We're going to remain in the police department while this renovation's being done, and it's going to be a real pain for us to stay there while they're working around us, but we've got no other place to go. We're going to make it work.
You make it work, and then in the future it's going to be wonderful.
Like they say, no pain, no gain. And
And you guys are going to have a lobby in there.
We're
and
gonna
there's
have a
gonna be
lobby.
a special dedication to the 2 officers that were killed in the line of duty.
Yeah,
for
a lot of
Gladwin
people,
City
a lot of
Police
people don't
Department.
know about having 2 police officers from the city of Gladwin Police Department that died in the line of duty. One being Chief Carl Raymond, who was killed in a traffic accident. And I don't have the dates with me. I don't want to misquote him. So,
I don't have them here either, so.
Chief Raymond he's on the Law Enforcement Memorial Wall in Washington. And the second officer was Police Officer
Ray Cowell.
Ray Cowell, that's right, yeah, Ray Cowell. And thanks to the Gladwin Record for doing a lot of research on that. He died after arresting a drunk of a heart attack. He had to fight with this drunk while he was walking to the jail. He collapsed, got a heart attack, and died. And we've got paperwork submitted just this month to the National Law Enforcement Memorial Board, and they're reviewing it, and we're hoping that he can be placed on the wall in May, and that his relatives, he's got a son that lives locally here still, and Don Cowell, and we're hoping that he can make the trip out to Washington, him and his wife, and be there for the dedication. But we are going to dedicate the lobby of our building, a new department, to those 2 officers for making that supreme sacrifice.
That's fitting.
Yep.
Now, one of the other things that's at your department is the prescription pill drop box.
Yep.
And that's been successful. I just saw recently, several, like 100 pounds of pills that
Oh,
Josh
yeah.
Hale
Oh,
had
yeah.
in the picture there.
It's been successful beyond my wildest dreams, and I got to thank Crime Stoppers and 1016 Recovery Unit department there. They helped us put this drop box together. It's located right outside our police department, so it's available 24/7 for people to come in and drop their pills off. And in less than a year, we've turned over 256 pounds to the DEA,
Wow.
which this means it's not getting into the wrong hands, it's getting disposed of properly, and it's not getting into our groundwater. I mean, it's a great program, and I wish I could take all the credit for it, but I can't. I say I got to thank Crime Stoppers and 1016.
Right. Well, 256 pounds, when you think about the weight of one individual pill,
Oh, yes.
that's a whole lot of medication that's not in our water supply and not in the hands of somebody who's going to abuse it.
Good.
That's wonderful.
It's a great program.
Wow. So after these renovations are done in 2012, you considering any retirement plans?
Yes, I am. Middle of next year, I'm going to be working close to 30, going on 39 years in law enforcement, and the wife and I have started a new venture. I can do a plug for Jonesy's Corner Store at Barton 61, 4 miles west of Gladwin.
That's right.
No, I'm going to hang it up. I think it's time to turn it over to the younger generation. There's people we're trying to groom and get them in position to take over, and we'll be looking into retirement. I haven't picked an exact date, but a lot of it's going to hinge on this project, the building project.
Yeah, you want to see that through. And,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, you have some great guys,
Oh,
young guys down there,
Awesome.
and,
Yep.
and
I wouldn't trade any one of them for anything.
I hope they do a good job. And you've earned it. 39 years is a very,
Yeah, it's
very long career in law enforcement.
yeah, it's time to hang up the spurs.
And move on to something new.
Yeah, oh yeah, we've already done that, so I'm working 2 jobs right now. I leave my day job and I go to the other job, so.
Well, I hope that 2012 brings you many, many blessings.
Yep, thank
you
you
for
too.
coming
Yep,
in.
yep. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody, and have a safe and memorable holiday.